the industrial waste is polluting the sea or the marine life, and the aquaculture we are disturbing. Same goes with the mangroves, and our encroachment thing has also hurt our mangroves plantation and all. और ये वजह है कि हम यहाँ जनाब एक इस तरह का और प्रोजेक्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का लाना चाह रहे हैं कराची पोर्ट ट्रस्ट में कि जो हमारे बाकी रिमेनिंग मैनग्रोव्स और हैं उनको प्रोटेक्ट कर सके. वी आर सीकिंग सम फंडिंग फ्रॉम environmental donations from different international organizations, and hopefully Economic Affairs Division is with us on that. So it shows that we at the Maritime Affairs, we at the Karachi Port Trust or Port Qasim are fully aware. Whether we have started doing something to mitigate, yes, we have, and that's why we are sitting here. Are we conscious? Are we aware of the realities of today? और हमारे जो कैश फ्लोज के इश्यूज़ हैं वो भी, और ये कितने प्रोजेक्ट्स लेंगे, सारी की सारी कॉस्ट लेंगे. हाँ जी, हम बिल्कुल आगाह हैं अपने जो हमारी बैलेंस शीट्स हैं उनसे भी बहुत. उनको कैसे हमने बेहतर करना है, दैट इज़ अनदर पार्ट ऑफ द स्टोरी, कि उसकी हमने अपनी कोर ऑपरेशंस को कैसे इन्हांस करना है और क्या कुछ करेंगे वो हम करके दिखाएंगे. एक साल में वी आर गिविंग अ कमिटमेंट कि हम कराची पोर्ट ट्रस्ट की प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी को एटलीस्ट दोगुना कर देंगे विदाउट हर्टिंग द एनवायरनमेंट, रादर इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू द एनवायरनमेंट. एंड दैट्स व्हाई मैं आज के इस इवेंट के तवस्सुत से, इस राउंड टेबल के तवस्सुत से, और क्योंकि मुशर्रफ वाज सीकिंग प्लेजेस, तो मैं ये प्लेज देता हूँ कि जो कुछ हम कर रहे हैं सो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन द ओशन क्लीनर्स के साथ इस प्रोजेक्ट में इफ़ there's a financial commitment is needed, then the Karachi Port Trust will also be chipping in here. So this is my commitment, this is our word, this is our resolve. Thank you very much.
Musharraf, do I have your permission? आपसे इजाज़त है?
I think everything is live now, so.
जी, I got this. आप रखें. ठीक. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया जी. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, बिस्मिल्लाह रहमान रहीम. पहले तो आप लोग की इजाज़त से अंग्रेज़ी में थोड़ा बहुत बात करनी होगी, क्योंकि हमारा ये पूरा फंक्शन जो है बाहर के दोस्तों के साथ हो रहा है और उसमें हमें इनकी हर अंडरस्टैंडिंग की ज़रूरत है और हर कोऑपरेशन की. जी, शराकतदारी बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. मैरिटाइम मिनिस्टर ने हमारे अभी यहाँ बात की है. सबसे पहले तो मैं उनका शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहती हूँ KPT का कि हमारे इतने खुले दिल से होस्टिंग की, और ऑल्सो मेरे दोस्त सब्जवारी साहब का कि इन्होंने इसकी ओनरशिप भी ली है. जितने स्टेक होल्डर्स ओनरशिप लेंगे जी उतना ही ये कामयाब होगा. एज मैनी पीपल ऑन द टेबल एंड ऑफ द टेबल take partnership in this, it will determine how this succeeds. Nothing that is related to climate change is ever done by one person. It requires teams, it requires stakeholders, and it requires civil society as well as the corporate sector that is here. The government is sitting right here and we are fully committed. In fact, we are very excited about it, as you can see from both of us. So I do want to take the opportunity to thank, of course, Coca-Cola for responding so quickly at a cold climate where you think nothing happens. But I was speaking at a very small informal group on plastics and waste management and how the world is not taking it seriously enough. अब आपको पता है कि when Michael Goldsman actually approached me himself, he said, what would you like us to do? I said, well, I'd love for you to reach out and see which part you can contribute. And then Aisha and Fahad brought this proposal, which was to us like extremely, I think long overdue, not just the need of the hour, but long overdue, as we all know. इश्यूज़ तो यहाँ कैपेसिटी के भी हैं. गवर्नमेंट्स अकेले इस वक्त दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा इस वक्त सैलाब आया हुआ है पाकिस्तान में. लेट मी नॉट स्पीक इन अ वैक्यूम. दैट इज़ माई फ्रंट लाइन नेशनल इमरजेंसी राइट नाउ. Of course, there's a disaster management part to it. बट डिज़ास्टर्स बाद में मैनेज होते हैं, उनकी शुरू में इस तरह देखभाल करनी उनकी हम रोक नहीं सकते. लेट मी बी वेरी क्लियर, the flooding, the global warming, the whole bit, the climate change cannot be stopped by Pakistan. Let's make no mistake. But we can certainly adapt to the crises better. We can certainly plan for our river pathways to flow better, not be clogged, and all of that. So there is a development component to, of course, how we manage our resources. हम जिस तरह अपने वसाइल, और ये हमारे वसाइल हैं, how we manage them. But I want to state very clearly, because to me climate communications, every opportunity is important, because there are powerful voices in the room, और मीडिया का तवस्सुत हमारे लिए बिल्कुल नागुज़ीर है. इसके बग़ैर हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. तो आप लोग प्लीज़ ये कन्वे करें कि जितना भी हम पूरा पाकिस्तान कल ग्रीन हो जाए, 100% एफॉरेस्टेशन हो जाए, 100% रिन्यूएबल हो जाए. Make no mistake, that will not impact global warming or the weather cycles that have created this monster of a monsoon. No country, no city in Pakistan has seen 1700 millimeters of rain come down in one day, which a little city near Nowshera Feroz saw. It's called Padidan. लोगों को तो इसका नाम भी नहीं पता था. Karachi then saw, and you are in Karachi, 1100 millimeters. Again, not seen in living memory. So the flood this time, the tsunami came from the sky. Normally it comes from the river. Now, of course, the river is stemming again, rising. It's been rising in the north, like it always does. We've seen the 2010 flood. उससे हमें सबक सीखने चाहिए थे कि किस तरह हम river beds को free रखें. ठीक है, ये आज के लिए बहुत अहम बात है. How the river beds are kept free for the water to drain. For instance, in Swat, everybody saw those hotels collapse. They were built on the riverbed. This has happened everywhere. Pakistan, at least in the south, Balochistan and Sindh are flat. Most of Sindh is completely flat. So the water is standing. Now it is standing everywhere, especially in outside Karachi. If you go up north, you see just a veritable ocean. Now the Indus Highway is also covered. We have no dry ground to make tents, place tents. That is the real emergency. To feed 33 million plus people. That's the real emergency right now. And I took a flight out to address this, because these are the adaptation actions we can take. So it's crucial to invest in opportunities like this. If the private sector is willing to do the heavy lift, which Nestle, Anglo, Coke, all of you, Unilever are willing to do, and companies like Seed who've done the study, always appreciate those who study. And others around the table, of course, the Navy, Rear Admiral Iqbal, आपका बहुत शुक्रिया कि आपने अपना यहाँ ना सिर्फ टाइम दिया, लेकिन what's important is the dollars and cents will come once a project takes off. But I do want to thank finally the ocean cleanup team who have made their way here to one of their biggest challenges. Martin Vertes and Alistair Terrell, you and your team will be facing one of your biggest challenges, and thank you for taking it on. Because let me also share that the Liari River was not a natural river, it was a drain initially. And then since the rain never came through, Pakistan went through a very long period of no monsoons. When I was a little girl, which was a very long time ago, we used to have monsoons. And monsoons were never like this, people. They were 2 days of heavy rain, maybe 1 week after, cycles that had gaps. The entire South Asia has developed a repository, a repertoire of romantic poetry around the monsoon. It's called the Sawan, as any Urdu speaker will tell you. तो सावन फुआर मेहा बरसी, ये कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं था. ये ना सावन थी, ना मेहा थी, ना फुआर थी. इसके बारे में सिवाय डिजास्टर गाना कुछ नहीं बन सकता कि the nation should unite and stand up, because this is a crisis from the skies. It is not natural, it is entirely man-made, it is of course anthropogenic, but it is not made by Pakistan. This is one crisis we did not create. Our glaciers are melting. This year, 3 times glacial melt. That was the first episode. We had 4 heat waves, one after another. Our temperature crossed 53 degrees. For the 3rd year running, we are the hottest place on the planet. 53 degrees is not for human habitation. It is not. Then came the forest fires, wiping out much of 17,000 hectares just in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, right? So all this was happening, and when I came to this ministry, the first presentation I asked the ministry to look at was plastics, because that's just there. And of course, I banned the use of plastics in at least my ministry, and I will go to government further. I said, this climate ministry can't have any plastic in the room. Even if it's PET, it's a bad message. And we need, so it's a little bit of work. घर में और दफ्तर में जो हम आपसे कह रहे हैं, दुनिया से कह रहे हैं करने को, पहले हमें खुद ना walk the talk, right? Now, ocean cleanup is a big task, because, and I was talking about this at Davos also, because by 2050, there will be more fish, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish. This is a known fact. It's charted, it's documented, and I believe that may happen before 2050. 2050 से पहले या तक आपके सारे ओशंस, सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के नहीं, में मछली से और आबी हयात से ज़्यादा प्लास्टिक्स होगा, वेस्ट होगा, टॉक्सिन्स होंगे. तो ये हमें बहुत सीरियसली लेना है. एवरी कंट्री हैज़ टू, बिकॉज ओशंस फ्लो इनटू ओशंस, बट ये हमारा अहाता है, ये हमारी लिटरल्स एंड पेरिफेरीज हैं एंड कोर वैल्यूज़ हैं. The Indus is the main artery of Pakistan. It supports 80 to 90% of livelihoods, and it is responsible for our food security. Right now, Sindh mein we've lost 90% of Sindh's crop, which means half the country's bread basket is gone. For this year, for the Rabi season, it's just gone. The livelihoods that support it, and Afia was in the river doing a completely daredevil exercise, but an important one for telling the story of how the Indus was running dry. अब पूरे साल कोटरी से साउथ ये दरिया बिल्कुल मतलब सहरा बना होता है. अगेन मेरी नौजवानी में हम इसलिए हैदराबाद एट वन पॉइंट जाते थे तो इतने ठाटे मारता था ये दरिया कि मतलब थोड़ा सा डर लगता था क्रॉस करते हुए कोटरी बराज को. बट नाउ लुक एट इट. सो राइट आफ्टर दिस, mark my words, you will have desertification and drought again. Am I right, Afia? You will, once this water has gone. So the business of detoxifying our river, of restoring the marine, there's a ecological biodiversity to this river. It supports some rare marine life, such as the Indus dolphin, which is found nowhere in the world. This is the habitat to a rich ecosystem of marine life. Palla machli ke alawa aur bhi gam hain, but palla machli is one of them. It used to be this big, it's now this, and rarely found now. So, other than the marine life, the mangroves we speak about, the natural barriers against flooding, even from the sea, are those mangroves, are how the delta bleeds into the ocean. And for at least 20-30 years, there's been no water coming down from the north, despite our flooding. The super flood of 2010, as you know, was much smaller than this. 20 million were affected, 33 million are affected today. 1/3 of Pakistan is underwater as we speak. So how we manage our rivers is crucial. And in this enterprise, the mega city of Karachi, and it's a mega city, and its drains, its internal rivers, natural or otherwise, now need help. They are on ventilators. and your team, ocean cleanup, we again, हम आपका बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. शुक्रिया is thank you to come here and pick up this challenge, because this will help us in restoring our poisoned food chain also. This is crucial, and it will restore the health of one critical part of our river. And it is the majority is plastics. I agree with you, Aisha, but Shahid is also right that industries have been dumping. Industries have been dumping without regard for laws, rules, regulations, or even the CSR there. So anybody who's dumping I better not find out that they're polluting elsewhere, because then I'll openly call it your greenwashing. And the assistance we're going to get, we will scale it up. Of course, the climate ministries will lead this, and I also want to say, when disaster comes, it comes with no appointment. We've had this flood here just to feed, and there's a need gap, just to feed 33 million people in distress. We have a needs gap, people. It's very real. And this is all linked to climate. It is linked to global warming. It is not some random event, and Qudrat apne aap tawazun nahi pakdegi. Nature will not go back to its normal default setting if we don't act. So action has to be taken. This is one of those actions. This is one of those actions that will not stop the flood, but it will allow communities to be more resilient. It will allow communities and cities and the river system to bounce back better. And perhaps we will have water that now flows down to the ocean, so half of Sindh is not saline and is able to grow something on it. We have lost at least 2 million acres to just salinity over the years. And that's the politics of distributing water. I don't want to get into that, but just quickly pointing to the need for a circular economy, the whole business of recycling. That's critical. उसके लिए जब मीडिया समझेगा तो बाकी दुनिया समझेगी. जो कौमें अपनी रिसाइकलिंग करती हैं उनको बहुत सॉर्टिंग करनी होगी. सब्जवारी साहब, the organic from the non-organic, इसमें बहुत काम और शऊर की ज़रूरत है, और बहुत सॉलिड वेस्ट एंड ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की ज़रूरत है. उसका बहुत लीड रोल है इसमें. सो टू मेक दैट हैपन, like in many countries, like Sweden, like Netherlands, like many of the countries in Western Europe, there will have to be a big national drive, and the provinces have to take the lead. The cities actually have to take the lead. And here's Karachi taking the lead thanks to this coalition. And I'm assuming it's a working coalition from today. No matter which government comes or goes, we are all, I know we're committed. We're committed to this project. We have voices, and they will be heard and amplified for this river. Now, just lastly, I want to say we have also at the Climate Ministry initiated a big project called the Living Indus, which I mentioned to Coke when they came calling. And the Living Indus, Afi also knows, it's just being pitched. It got a little delayed because of the flood. It is being pitched to the cabinet. It's a huge project. It is recharging the river Indus again. This is a vital arm of it. We have made 25 interventions. It is with the United Nations. We have conceived this. It's in partnership with them. They have brought capacity to it. We have to take the leadership and build the investments into it. This I already see as one investment. So we have 25 interventions listed, and that is being presented to cabinet as soon as the crisis is over. But I think the Prime Minister wants to see it anyway now. And this will plug into that as a crucial spoke in the wheel of reinventing our natural ecosystems. Let me tell you, it will take many years. It will take many years because we've taken a good long time to make the river a sludge, right? We've made it a sludge. And I wanted to just lastly point out one example. Somebody, I think Musharraf mentioned the Thames. It is still not, what it used to be or should be. They have spent a century trying to clean it. It's still a struggle, but they're doing it. The best example of a river and an ecosystem that has been cleaned up, and it's sparkling now, from a sludge, from a yellow-brown sludge, is the Shanghai River. And around it are parks. Now it is an integrated ecosystem of the city of Shanghai. So on one of our Chinese Communist Party interactions, as you know, People's Party and the Communist Party have a strong relationship, so we were there and a while ago, and I said, I want to see how you've cleaned the river. It cost $15 billion. I asked, I said, I want to know the price tag. It took about 10 years and it cost over 15 billion. Now, of course, you know, with inflation and with the Ukraine war in the middle, and its carbon footprint, which no one is asking about because it's in the heart of Europe. There it is. So the carbon footprint is part, I mean, this whole thing will feed into that. The climate ministry is here. हम सब आपके साथ हैं. Subzwari साहब ने भी अपना full commitment, अपना वक्त, अपनी जगह, KPT के बगैर ये हो भी नहीं सकता. हम अगर अपने आहिस्ता आहिस्ता शुरू करें, देखिए जब कहते हैं कि ना सारा एक रात में हो जाएगा, ये देखिए आप क्लाइमेट इनकलाब ना मांगें क्योंकि ये सारी दुनिया ने करना है, लेकिन अगर हम अपने अपने नेबरहुड्स, अपने अपने दरिया, अपने अपने नल्ला इस तरह साफ़ करेंगे कम्युनिटी बन के, दिस इज़ अ शेयर्ड कम्युनिटी नाउ, इट इज़ ऑलरेडी, and we have a shared dream today. We have a shared dream of cleaning this impossible river. It is really difficult, but it's a shared dream, and with your leadership and your heft and your catamaran, which I've seen videos of thanks to Aisha, and which will be plowing, आपके catamaran, you know, ये catamaran लाएं उससे वो निकालेंगे, and this is innovation. We are leapfrogging centuries of trying by working with innovation. So innovation can be one of the saviors in this whole challenge that the 21st century, make no mistake, this is the existential challenge of the 21st century. And if anybody is waiting for net zero by 2050, as committed and discussed by many countries at Paris, they are very late. 2030 is the decisive decade. It is when the fate of this planet will be decided, not 2040, not 2050. Because as you can see, the accelerated impacts of climate change are upon us. We have to start building our cities, our villages, and adapting. There are many climate resilience projects, but lastly, I just want to say, all our climate resilience money has gone into feeding people. We have repurposed all of our funds straight into going to BISP, which is now will be 70 billion into people's accounts. They need that cash right away. It's a frontline need. We are still not feeding enough people. So unfortunately, all climate funds have gone, immediately been repurposed. As soon as we are able to bring them back, we will pour a part of this into the Liari River, because we're already committed. To us, it's part of the Indus, living Indus dream, and we will make this happen. आप सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. I'm sorry I spoke so long, but this is very close to my heart. And thank you once again, Coca-Cola, Rear Admiral, Maritime, KPT, all you corporates that are here. Thank you, Musharraf, and for keeping me informed, and to the Ocean Cleanup Company for coming here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you, Mr. Saab. Well, thank you, both of you. I think you both spoke really well, and I'm glad that you spoke for as long as you did. Frankly, we would have heard you for longer, but it's lunchtime, and there's two items left on our agenda. One is, this applause was of course for the honorable ministers. Another round of applause for Qudrat Saab and the chairperson KPT and all the KPT staff. Thank you for hosting us and thank you for your leadership. Fahad wants to give some mementos to the honorable chief guests. Fahad, do you want to quickly do that? और मीडिया के भाइयों के लिए एक पैगाम ये कि लंच का इंतजाम कीजिए ऑफिसर्स मेस में. तो अभी जब ये सेरेमनी हो जाएगी तो उसके बाद लंच है, और बाकी सबसे इल्तमास है कि वो यहीं मौजूद रहें.